Hi, this is Mr. Nazarian. Our learning objective today, I can use addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division of fractions to solve problems presented on a line plot. 5th grade standard, measurements and data, B2. Alright, so we're going to look at a word problem today involving fractions. Blake has 2/5 of an acre of land. He has a grass lawn that covers 1/4 of his land. How many acres is his lawn? Alright, so as always, the first thing when we're looking at word problems is first we want to, as we think about how we're going to attack this word problem and solve it, first thing we want to look at is what is the question? What is it that we're being asked to solve? And that is usually at the end here, right? How many acres is his land? Okay, so now that we know what we're trying to solve, which is of his land, how many acres is lawn, we're going to look for what's the important information to be able to solve this. So we need to know how many acres his entire land is, which is 2/5. So we've got 2/5 of an acre. And his lawn covers 1/4 of his land. Okay, so we know that his land is 2/5 an acre. We know that 1/4 of his land is lawn. So that should, ding, 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 that should be a quick cue to us that when we're talking about fractions and fractions, we hear of, 1/4 of another, one fraction of another fraction. That is going to be what kind of operation? What kind of operation would we use to solve this problem of how many acres is his lawn if we know that his entire land is 2/5 of an acre and 1/4 of his land is lawn? What kind of operation would we use? Okay, we would use multiplication. So, because remember when we're using multiplying fractions here, 1/4 times 2/5, this times can be referred to as of. That's one way to think about it. So it's 1/4 of 2/5 is 1/4 times 2/5. So remember the standard that we're working on today is either multiplying, dividing, adding, or subtracting fractions using a line plot. We've figured out that to solve this problem, we're going to have to use the operation of multiplication, but now we want to use a line plot to present the solution. So what that's going to look like is, remember I take this second factor here, which is 2/5, on the line plot first. So I want to show what 2/5 looks like first. So I'm going to do the best that I can. That doesn't look exactly even, so I might move these around a little bit, but you get the idea. So I'm going to take this, and this line plot, this entire line plot here is going to represent one whole. So I'm going to have 0 here at the beginning. This is going to be one whole at the end, and each of these lines here is going to represent 1/5. So this first section I've broken up into 5 sections, right? So this one's going to be 1/5. Excuse me. This is going to be 2/5. This is going to be 3/5. 4/5. And at the end is going to be one whole, which would be how many fifths? It would be 5/5, right? Okay. So each of these sections is 1/5, and remember that this factor that I'm looking to represent is 2/5, so I'm going to shade in 2 of these sections, right? Oh, and actually, I'm not going to shade them in, am I? I'm going to circle these 2. So some people I saw the other day doing this is kind of cool. So just kind of hop, zip, and jump, and then went underneath 2. So we're showing here now that there's 2/5, right? Now, that's great for just looking at this, but this is his entire land. So if this entire line here is 1 acre, then these circled sections here represent Blake's land. He has 2/5 of an acre. But now we want to find just the amount of land that is covered with lawn. So we are going to take each of these 1/5 sections, right? And we're going to break them up into fourths. Okay, because we're trying to find 1/4 of his 2/5. So each of these fifths I'm going to break into fourths. Okay, so I'm doing 1/4 of the 2/5. So now I'm going to shade this in. So now, do this. Let's do a different color, red. All right. So remember that now. So of this section right here, there's 4, right? So I'm going to have 1/4 of this fifth here. It's going to be shaded in red. So that represents of 1/5 of an acre. We've got 1/4 of it lawn, and then there's also 1/4 of this section, right? So now how many sections do we have that's shaded in red? We have 2. 2 sections that are shaded in red. And how many total little sections are there now that I have taken the fifths and then divided those into fourths, or I've found 1/4 of each of these? How many little sections? So like here's a section, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way for the entire acre here. How many total little sections are there? There are 20. Okay. So, and something that we were doing today, with some of us were doing, is we're kind of doing a number on here and a number down here just to kind of keep track. And we're saying, well, how many sections here are shaded? We've got 1 here and 1 here. So we said there's 2, right? And we said, how many total sections are there? So we said 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 here, right? Total. There's 4 total sections here. There's 4 total sections here. So some people did that just to kind of organize their thoughts and keep track, and said 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. There's 20 total sections. So we can, using the algorithm that we've learned in multiplying fractions, multiply across to check to see if this line plot representation works. 1 times 2 is 2, 4 times 5 is 20. And how could I write 2/20ths in simplest terms, in lowest terms? What would that be equal to? Well, I know they're both divisible by 2. So if I divide 2 by 2, I'm going to get 1. If I divide 20 by 2, I'm going to get 10. So 1/10 would be the answer in lowest terms. Okay, we'll work on this tomorrow. See you then.